Hello, welcome to Real Talk. I am your host, Paul Britton. Uh, I've got one thing to talk about today, and it is just an absolute monster of a movie, a film that just defies all superlatives. One battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson's latest film. Paul Thomas Anderson obviously is a filmmaker who got his start in the in the mid to late 90s. His first big movie, his first movie was Hard Eight. His first big movie, sort of like announcement, like and really first movie that he had any sort of control over whatsoever, because he did not. He Hard Eight got cut in ways that he did not appreciate. Was Boogie Nights, and I mean that movie is just so good, and it was just a film that was an announcement of, hey, guess what? We're going to be doing some amazing things here. Like, I was instantly on board with Paul Thomas Anderson when he did Boogie Nights. Magnolia, Punch Drunk Love, also, the Master, which is complicated, but just perfect filmmaking. Of course, the one that everybody points to and loves is There Will Be Blood, and it's his best grossing film by a lot. But and it's the one that probably came the closest to winning him Best Picture Oscar, the best Oscar race ever. There Will Be Blood versus No Country for Old Men, and No Country for Old Men from the Coen brothers won, which is fine because I'm not sure the Coen brothers are really making movies anymore, and Paul Thomas Anderson's still at it, and he made the Oscar favorite One Battle After Another. This movie, I mean, when the trailer came out, and he doesn't cut all of his own trailers, but he cuts many of his own trailers, and it was obvious that the first one that came out was something that he did. This movie stars Leonardo DiCaprio as a somewhat burnt out revolutionary, a member of a organization called the French 75, and the trailer is the one where we see him talking on the phone, and they're giving code speak, and he forgets the code speak, and it's such a great moment in a trailer, and then to see it's one of those instances where you then see it on the big screen, and it's just perfect. And that's the thing about this movie, is that everything, it just feels compulsive, propulsive, and I mean both of those words. Like, I did, that was not me, speaking incorrectly. The attention to detail and is absolutely compulsive, and it propels the movie forward in such a way that if you've ever seen a Paul Thomas Anderson movie before, you understand. He just has a way of moving a story forward. Now, you could point to The Master and say, well, that movie kind of doesn't go forward, and I get it, yeah. But also, if you've seen like Boogie Nights, and the scene where Chess Rockwell and Brock Landers are trying to score some drugs off of the crazy guy with the little guy setting off fireworks. It's just the filmmaking is just absolutely gripping. And then they throw in a score that just puts you on edge to a degree that you just don't even know what to do with. The composer is Johnny Greenwood, who previously has done a lot of PTA stuff, including There Will Be Blood and Phantom Thread and The Master, and Licorice Pizza. I'm looking to see if he's ever done anything other than The Power of the Dog. There's one that was not a PTA movie, but You Were Never Really Here. Okay, so Johnny Greenwood mostly does PTA movies, and he knows what he's doing, because the score just sets the tone. And so let's just take a small step backwards, because I've gotten way ahead of myself. This I already set up who Leonardo DiCaprio's character is. The movie, the first act of the movie is 15 years in the past. Acts 2 and 3 take place in the present, and we find Leonardo DiCaprio's Bob, although at that time he's not Bob, he's Ghetto Pat. And then he is a revolutionary with, amongst others, but primarily Tanya Taylor, Teyana Taylor, who plays Perfidia Beverly Hills, which is just an amazing name. Like, if you're going to be a revolutionary, you better have a name like Perfidia Beverly Hills to back it up. And Regina Hall also is in this movie, and is as a revolutionary, and they are doing revolutionary shit, man. They are really genuinely stuff that I saw it twice over the weekend. And the first time I was really uncomfortable with what was happening, because I felt like this is the shit that should be going on right now. And that's really the one of the most interesting aspects of this movie. It harkens back to Eddington, where Eddington just was a movie that felt like the time, earlier this year. And this movie, similarly feels like the time, but feels like the time that should be rather than the time that is. And whereas Eddington felt like the time that is, and definitely not the time that you would want or should be. But neither one of those things are good, because there's nothing good about our current timeline. But that's neither here nor there. The movie, this One Battle After Another, we see them just blowing up banks, going in and releasing encamped immigrants. And Sean Penn plays Colonel Stephen Lockjaw. And in this first act, we find him just this hard ass right wing piece of shit, who is confronted by Perfidia Beverly Hills, and just a really expresses his affection for her and disdain for her. And that is then the relationship that underscores everything that goes on throughout the movie, while we watch Ghetto Pat and Perfidia move forward in their relationship. In Act 1, Lockjaw manages to locate Perfidia. He entraps her into meeting up with him. Perfidia, then we see 9 months later, is pregnant, and then we see a little bit later, with Ghetto Pat, has had a child, and they're raising the child, and Perfidia is just not happy. Postpartum, also freedom lost, also just all the negativity of and difficulty of being a first time parent, who also happens to be a revolutionary. And she gets caught up in a situation where she has to she ends up having to turn on the French 75, and so Ghetto Pat needs to become Bob Ferguson, and takes the baby and runs and hides. And then Act 2 is 15 years later. We catch up with Bob and their daughter, Willa, who is played by Chase Infinity, who she is so good as just this 16-year-old daughter of a revolutionary in the middle of in a small town in Northern California. and it's just and then Lockjaw has to go find them, and that's where Act 2, Act 3 go. And we'll just leave it at that, because that's when the movie becomes just totally gripping and cannot take your eyes off it. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it feels like an hour and a half. It does take the first act does take a little while. But once you get into that second act, it's like boom. And then you get to the third act, which becomes basically a chase scene. Like, the Lockjaw gets Willa, and Bob needs to track him down. Bob gets some help. And I have to mention Benicio del Toro, who just should be everybody's all-time favorite. Like, if you're not a fan of Benicio del Toro, I don't know what to do for you, because he's just amazing, and he's equally amazing in this movie. The nerd discourse on this has been, oh boy, Sean Penn has locked up the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and then the only response to that is, well, only if you don't assume that Benicio del Toro has locked up the Best Supporting Actor Oscar, because both of them as supporting actors in this movie are just perfection. And I don't know that Regina Hall, who plays a lesser figure within the revolution, but an important one, and plays her part perfectly. I would love to see her get nominated. Teyana Taylor as the fallen one, the chosen one who fell, Perfidia, she could get nominated. Leo is absolutely getting nominated for Best Actor. This movie, above everything, this movie is just fucking hilarious. And that sounds really, really weird, but it is just absolutely, there are so many moments like what causes Lockjaw to have to go find Willa is that he wants to join a secret group. I'm not even going to say what the name of the group is, because it's so absurd. He wants to join a secret group. He gets an opportunity to join a secret group, but he definitely can't have, mixed race child out there. So so there's some loose ends he needs to tie up. And it's absolutely amazing. It's just absolutely, God, I wish I had the this is one of those instances where it's tough, because I would rather be doing this with somebody else, because I need somebody else's words to really chime in and say, you know what, this is how amazing it is. And then I can say, yeah, actually it's this amazing. And this is how profound the things that Benicio del Toro as the sensei says and does. And then, and it's amazing to see to watch a completely burnt out Benicio del Toro, or not Benicio del Toro, Leonardo DiCaprio as a former revolutionary have to regain his mental fortitude and wherewithal. And the conversation, if you've seen the trailer and the conversation between where he's trying to give the passwords on the payphone, and that is a small segment of what's going on through the entirety of Act 2. Basically, Bob doesn't have a cell phone. The cell phone he has is like a first generation, we're on 5G now, first generation 1G phone that isn't functional. So that's why you see him on a payphone in that scene. That's the start of the scene, basically. And then throughout, he's just trying to get a charge on his phone so they can call these people back that hung up on him while he was on the cell phone. And it's just, It's such an amazing running gag. That scene, the telephone scene, is such an amazing running gag, and for how long it stretches, and you just want him to get to charge his phone, and then he charges his phone. It's perfect. This movie, it's just it's the best of Boogie Nights, and uh it's the best of Magnolia, which is my favorite PTA movie for right now. One Battle After Another. This one might, it's the best of There Will Be Blood, which is probably his best movie. Like, I recognize best and favorite, two different things. His best movie is There Will Be Blood. But Daniel Day-Lewis's Plainview character um lends so much to it is the man with power, where Lockjaw is that same person but without the power. And to see Plainview neutered but still believe he has the still believe he is not neutered, is just absolutely hilarious and pathetic, and it's so good. And it just takes the best of Punch Drunk Love, which is a movie I absolutely love. It's a 90-minute perfection, and it's great. It's the best of everything that Paul Thomas Anderson has done in the past, and stretches it out over 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it just absolutely works. Every minute works. And it's a joy. It's in theaters, and you should definitely take the 3 hours, because there are the trailers and stuff. You should definitely take the 3 hours to go sit in a theater and watch it on as big of a screen as humanly possible. I've seen it once on a Temu IMAX, the laser IMAX, which is fine but not. And then I've seen it once on just a regular screen. The IMAX, even as a low rent IMAX, is such a better experience than the regular screen. And I would do anything to see it on VistaVision. It was filmed on VistaVision, but there's only 3 theaters in the country that do this. Go see it. One Battle After Another. Here on Real to Real Talk, we do tacos instead of stars. And if we feel like something deserves a little extra, we will add guacamole. Why? Instead of just doing like a half a taco like a regular person? Because nobody eats a fucking half a taco. And I'm giving this one 5 tacos plus guac. This is the best movie of the year. This is my favorite movie of the year. Apologies to both Sinners and Life of Chuck, which were previously the best and my favorite movie of the year. This is just best and favorite. Really quick on Sinners, it is available streaming. You absolutely have to see Sinners. It's amazing, and it is equally propulsive as this. And these two movies, these are the most probably the 2 most captivating movies of maybe like 2 or 3 years. Just like, edge of your seat, just absolutely can't look away. Can't wait for every next minute. Those are these 2 movies, but this one's just like Sinners is a masterclass. This is the master of the masterclass. And no dig on anybody, Coogler or anybody, but like PTA's just been doing it longer, and this is working on his the PTA movie. If we're going to call something a PTA movie, he just knows what he's doing, and he does it to perfection. So that's where we are. I'll be back next week. I've got there are movies coming out, and there's no way anything will come close to One Battle After Another for another few weeks. But you know, I'll still be back at it. And hopefully, before you come on and enjoy the next episode, you will have seen One Battle After Another. I'm Paul Britton. This is Real to Real Talk, and I hope to see you again soon.